of their family. Whereas trauma, including abuse and neglect, is a serious problem affecting every community in the United States, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas children who live in families with access to concrete economic and social support are less likely to experience abuse and neglect. And whereas prevention is possible because of the partnerships created between Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey, families, prevention advocates, child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and local, state, and national governments. And whereas we acknowledge that in order to solve the public health issue of abuse and neglect, we must work together to change hearts and mindsets through storytelling and sharing, center the needs of families, break down bias and barriers, and inspire action from expected and unexpected partners in prevention. And whereas we are committed to advancing equitable, responsive, and effective systems that ensure all children and families are healthy and thriving. And whereas we recognize the need to prioritize kids and invest in more prevention initiatives like home visiting and family strengthening policies, economic supports, and community-based child abuse prevention programs at the national, state, and local levels. Note therefore, be it resolved, Mayor Moore and the Asbury Park City Council do hereby proclaim April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Asbury Park, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by building a narrative of hope for children and families through collaboration and the creation of an ecosystem of primary prevention.
Alex and I are here from the Kiwanis Club of Asbury Park, and we're a non-denominational, non-political organization. If anyone wants to join, we're meeting tonight at the Asbury Park Brewery, open to anyone that wants to join us. We are here to promote the health, the promotion of the children of Asbury Park. Our booklets are for sale on our website. We have 58 restaurants for sale, that the coupon booklet promotes $30 for one booklet, $50 for two. Every single dollar that we raise goes back into the community of only Asbury Park. Scholarships. We have the beach box on 2nd Avenue. We do community events. We do the Pine Street play on Friday night, play on Pine and Friday night, lots of other things. But go onto our website and see what we do for the children of Asbury. So thank you for the question. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Your now special event, our region director, Screen saver. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. There are 8 applications for receiving. 2 of them are new. That would be the Solstice Safety and Wellness Panel, as well as a request for the Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month to the press conference on 5th Avenue Boardwalk. Are there any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're now on, we're now on to action city council. Council member.
I have nothing, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Clayton.
Yes, on Sunday, March 31st, the Springwood Avenue Heritage Walk is going to be marching, and everyone is invited to come to 1201 Springwood Avenue for an afternoon with music, door prizes, and raffles, and also the industry tour. So please come out. It's from 2 to 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So just a reminder, Garden State Film Festival takes place this weekend, so go on the website and check out the films. And, Sylvia asked me to just mention the UEZ is putting, well, the city is putting on a outreach for local businesses. So if anyone here is a local business, we are looking for feedback for our 5-year plan for UEZ spending. The reason why this is really important is the city makes proposals to the UEZ board run by the state, and the state says yes or no. And so if we have an idea of what businesses need to continue to function or survive maybe during hard months like the winter, it would be helpful. So if you could reach out to Sylvia, if you are a local business in the audience.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to the city's waterfront redevelopment attorney, Joe Marizzi, regarding the boardwalk preservation fund grant.
Yes, and just so everybody knows, Mr. Marzi's lawyer for the city as far as the beach truck redevelopment. And everybody knows last year the city got $7 million and Madison Marquette got $13 million, total of $20 million. And since then, we've been trying to negotiate a fair and equitable deal where the first priority of ours, as in the MOU we put out with Madison Marquette, was to try to get the Paramount open as soon as possible. So we've made some great headway in the last 2 weeks, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Marzini.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. I'll stand here so everybody can hear me. I don't think I need the microphone, but if you can't hear me, raise your hand and I'll get it. I have good news. Thanks to the pronouncement by the mayor that we had to get this done by April 1st, we made it. And because of that, I think we got where we needed to get. So what we have on the agenda tonight is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with Madison Asbury Retail, which will begin the process of bringing the Paramount Theater to a structurally sound and watertight condition. That will happen in 2 phases, using the funding from the Boardwalk Preservation Fund that has been set up by legislation about a year ago. The city got an award of $20 million. $7 million of that has been allocated by the city for the boardwalk improvements. $13 million for the work on Paramount Theater. We spent a good deal of time at the negotiating table with Madison Asbury Retail, I'll call them MAR, to specify exactly what's going to be done with that money. So the way the agreement works, in phase 1, there will be a 90-day period for 2 highly reputable firms to undertake an examination of the building, the exterior of the building. One of them is Michael Graves. It's a firm from Princeton with a global reputation in architecture and historic preservation. The other firm is from Wayne, New Jersey, March Consulting and Contracting. And together, they will be examining the building. March will be pulling apart some of the bricks to look at the undersurface. They will be examining the leaks in the building to determine what needs to be done to make it watertight and structurally sound. As a result of that process, construction documents will be prepared, which will become the elements of phase 2 of the arrangement. This is a historic site. There is an easement, a historic site easement with the State Office of Historic Preservation. So there will be coordination throughout this process over the 90-day period. We will then negotiate an amendment to this agreement. All of the work under the agreement. There will be a project labor agreement as part of this, prevailing wages as part of the requirements of the program. And the details of the March and the Graves proposals, which are attached to the document, have been thoroughly negotiated and worked out with the incredible help of Jay Harzold and Fran Mullen of TNM Engineers. And so we present to you tonight a document that we feel is very tight, solid, and will get the first phase going so that we can get into the second phase and get everything done on the exterior by the end of next year.
Thank you.
We now have a presentation by the DPW Redeveloper LLC and Asbury Partners LLC for proposed redevelopment at Block 3801, Lot 1.02, 320, Asbury
Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Jennifer Phillips-Smith. I'm an attorney with SPC, and I'm here tonight on behalf of APW Redeveloper, which is an affiliate of the master developer Asbury Partners. We are here tonight to present a proposed development for Block 3801, which is the large triangular piece of property at the intersection of Asbury Ave and Oakland Avenue. We were here about 2 years ago with a proposal for this site. At that time, we had a proposal for a 6-story building with 156 rental residential units. The redevelopers reevaluated what's best for this lot and ultimately moving forward a proposal that is less dense and has fewer overall stories. And has taken one larger building and broken it down into 3 smaller buildings. You'll hear tonight that the 3 buildings proposed include a 5-story building on Asbury Ave, which would be condo units, a 4-story townhouse string on Cookman, and then a building that tapers down to 3 stories in the corner, right at the tip of the triangle. We have 4 presenters this evening. We will start with our planner, who will orient everyone to the location here and the zoning requirements. We'll then move on to our engineer, who will talk a bit about some of the constraints we have here, particularly as to meeting flood hazard requirements. And then we have 2 different architects. We have an architect that will talk about the condo building and townhome building, and then one that will talk about the mixed-use building proposed with the tip of the triangle. So we'll start with John Barry, our planner. Just give us an overview of the location of the property and the zoning requirements.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Just to orient everyone, we set this area up so that you're have a redevelopment plan oriented for our front side. So the ocean right at the bottom of the screen. The property that we're looking at this evening is a triangle at the intersection of Cookman and Asbury Avenue. You can see it's got lot 3801, lot 1.2, and we have some of the development that's taking place recently around the property. You can see the aerial image here. So the location of the property now oriented so that north is up, the ocean is on our right, and west and right at our south, the bottom of the location. We have some images of the surroundings of the property. Cookman Avenue at the bottom, Asbury Avenue at the top, forming that triangle point. The Seaview Senior Tower is across Asbury Avenue. North of the property, we have the Vibe development at the corner of Kingsley and Asbury Avenues. Then we have Pleasant Grove, the 4-story buildings, and then behind them the townhouse part of the project across Cookman Avenue to the south. And then the more recently constructed Cove townhouse development to the west of the property. There's some images of those developments as I described. You can see the scale, and we'll talk a little bit more about the relative size of the project. On the next slide, you can see the 4 stories at Wesley Grove and at the 5 and Co buildings. They're all a similar height, and then the little bit older, set back a little further, the Phillips Seaview Towers, a 12-story building. So to get into what we're proposing, the project will consist of 3 separate buildings that will be in 2 phases on 2 separate lots that will then be interconnected. The design professionals will get into more details about the specifics, but overlaid here on the aerial image, you can see the relative orientation of the buildings. The top left part of the site along Asbury Avenue will have a 5-story multifamily building that's roughly across from the Seaview Tower. And the redevelopment plan permits up to 8 stories of height in that area. And moving to the right, at the pencil point, this would be actually the second phase of the project, is a 3-story mixed-use building that tapers toward the point of the intersection. You'll see how the architecture is intended to work with the shape of the lot here. So that's relatively opposite the vibe. Again, 8 stories would be permitted up to that corner part of the lot, where we're proposing a 3-story building there that's less than the height of the vibe across the street. And then moving down Cookman, we have a block of townhouses that are the 3.5 or 4-story model that are similar in scale to the Cove buildings that are right next door, and no taller than the Wesley Grove building that's across the street. So that gives a sense of the scale. The project will include a proposed subdivision that will have 2 conforming lots in the redevelopment plan standards. All the height conforms and is well below what's permitted for most of the block. And the uses with the various different residential types, some condos, some townhouses, and also a commercial component on the ground floor of the building at the point that's mostly oriented toward Cookman Avenue, are all permitted under the redevelopment plan. We also will have compliant parking, as we hear more about, and a variety of other improvements that are generally consistent in all important ways with the redevelopment plan. I think that covers my part.
It does. We'll move on to our civil engineering. Just give an overall description of the layout of the buildings and then also what constraints you have that led to this design.
Good evening. My name is Lena Borough. I'm a senior project manager with French and All Associates, and I'm the project engineer for this project. Just to orient you again, you see Cookman Avenue on the bottom of the page, and Asbury Avenue up on top. This is one of our plans that was submitted to the council, and you see building 1, which is the building on the top left-hand side. That would be the 5-story condominium building containing 50 residential units. Building 2 to the right of it is the mixed-use building, which is a 3-story building with commercial on the first floor and 8 residential units above. And building 3 is a string of 9 townhome buildings. Those are 4-story buildings, and then they're just individual townhomes. We put a lot of thought in the site design because of the unique shape of the triangular shape and the nature of this development. This took some creativity. We also had to address the unique challenges of this particular site, being that it's so close to Wesley Lake. This site is partially located in a floodplain or a flood hazard area. The flood hazard elevation is, the NJDP considers that 1 foot above the FEMA elevation. So the elevation we had to address is elevation 11. One of the reasons that we proposed the top left-hand entrance to the northwest at that location is because that is the highest elevation of the site and allows us to meet the NJDP drive access rule, meaning that the driveway is at the highest elevation. And even in a flood condition, there would be no more than 12 inches of water in the driveway. Another reason that we lined up the driveways where we have them is to allow for the intersections for vehicular and driver safety, as well as to
not having headlights facing residential buildings. In this layout, we had also considered the massing of the buildings and proximity to adjacent developments, so we sought to maximize view sheds and openness to adjacent developments. This layout also maintains all of the existing on-street parking, so there will be no loss of parking spaces. We are providing the required parking for this development. In fact, 101 parking spaces are required. This project will provide 125 parking spaces within the site. The project will be constructed in 2 phases. Buildings 1 and 3 will be constructed first, and then building 2, which is part of the subdivided block.
And that will allow the developer to actually stage points.
That's correct.
In the street or surrounding areas.
That's correct. Within the site, we are proposing EV parking spaces. As you can see, those are on the western portion. There will be 14 surface parking spaces that are EV ready. And then the buildings will also have EV ready or chargers within buildings, which are electric architects and we presented this project to the TRC, and we have gotten some comments which we sought to address and have created the updated plan that you see in front of you. One of the requests was to flip the retail entrances that we originally proposed on Asbury Avenue. We now flipped them to Cookman and created a series of stairs and ramps to provide ADA accessible access to those floors. We were also tasked to look for opportunities to provide rain gardens instead of only forest treatment. As you can see on the bottom corner there, on the bottom left, we are now proposing a rain garden in addition to the forest treatment and infiltration basins throughout the site. There was also a request to delineate where each one of the driveways starts and stops for the townhome buildings. So we are showing the delineation that will be on the concrete. We will be providing a garage maneuverability plan as the designs get further developed. That will be part of our application packet for the planning board. And I talked about the EV parking spaces and to address the cross-access easements, so we are going to propose utility easements as well as access easements for the 2 lots. And we have also added the location of the mailbox for the townhome building, which is right near the intersection of St. James and Cookman, right about there. And we will be working, we clarified that the landscaping is mostly native, but we will be working very closely with the landscape architect to ensure that it is to their satisfaction.
Thank you. So I'd like to move now to get into the architecture, and we'll start with the 2 buildings that are entirely residential. So ask Michael to introduce himself and walk us through.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Lawson. I am a principal at Mill Wasco Architects and Planners, and I'm here to present to you 2 of the buildings that are on the site. So as our attorney just stated, these are 2 residential buildings, one being a multifamily building, 5 stories, and the other one being a 4-story townhouse. This is again the site plan. As I said, we'll be presenting to this building here, that's on Asbury Avenue, and then the townhouse building located on Cookman. To take us right into the building floor plans here, this building is a 50-unit building. It has a series of 1- and 2-bedroom units, condo units. It is 4 stories of wood frame construction over 1 story of podium, In the podium is located the parking garage. As we have stated, and as our civil engineer has stated, the podium level and the parking is located above flood elevation, and that requires us to have storm vents on the base of the building. Those things can be seen on the elevations as we get to them as well. In the garage portion of the building, we have a series of parking spaces, some being tandem, and we have lobby, utility, and bike storage. As you get to the upper levels of the building, we have a range of different units that do have den units, as well as balconies, and every single unit focus on the views towards the ocean and towards the lake. As we go up to the 4th and 5th story, these stack, but they do have more 2-bedrooms on these. We do have den units in this product as well, which we believe will be very marketable. On the roof here, we have a rooftop amenity that faces towards the ocean. That rooftop amenity has areas for barbecue grilling, outdoor lounging, a lawn area. One of the comments that we got in the TRC was where we are proposing to locate the mechanical units. We are proposing to locate them at the center of the building, so they will be screened from view by the parapet walls, as well as screened and buffered from a layer of either landscaping or screening around the. This is an elevation from Asbury Avenue. As you can see, we have a contemporary shore type of architecture that we believe is very in line with the neighborhood and in mapping with the overall Asbury Park area. Along Asbury Avenue, we have our main entrance that you can see here on the elevation that has a ramp and stair leading to it, as well as a portico that we believe essentially where the entry is located. In terms of the materials on the building, we have a beige style brick on the base with grills into the parking garage, and then we transition to a series of board and batten fiber cement, as well as shingle fiber cement. On the upper story, the large windows and balconies. The aesthetic and the colors are compatible and work very well with the other properties. Now I'll take you to the townhouses that are located on Cookman. Townhouses here are front-loaded with the parking garages located in the rear of them, so you do not have any garages actually fronting onto any right-of-ways. On the Cookman Avenue side, we do have stoops leading to the front doors. On the ground floor, we have a parking garage in the rear, as I just stated, and then flex space, and then the main living area is actually located on the 2nd floor. This includes a kitchen, a living room, and a dining room. On the next floor, we have the 3rd floor, which is our main bedroom level. It has 3 bedrooms. We have updated the plans to show the connection to the loft that is located on the 4th floor. The loft includes an outdoor area that will have very picturesque views towards the ocean and towards the lake. The mechanical units are located on the rear of that side, away from the right-of-way, so that it's to be hidden. It is a image from Cookman Avenue showing how we are stepping the building as well. We have 3 stories, and then we step back for that 4th story, which we believe creates a really fantastic mapping. We are compatible with the materials that we proposed in the 5-story condominium building. Again, we have a light beige brick at the base. We have then a fiber cement panel, as well as fiber cement lap siding in a range of blues, and we have some wood paneling as well to add some softness and vibe to the overall aesthetic. So I'll take you back to this image really quickly. In terms of overall height of this building, we are proposing that the 5-story building be 59 feet from grade to roof structure. That's about 66 feet if you include the appurtenances and rooftop amenity bulkheads that are required to access the rooftop deck. For the townhouse development, that will be 43 feet in total from grade to roof structure, and that is very compatible to the Vive across the street, almost identical, actually. There were just a few other points that we wanted to illustrate. For the EV spaces, we will have all the EV required spaces of 15%, as the civil engineer said, exterior of the building. However, there will be infrastructure and conduit within the buildings in both the townhouses and the multifamily building to have further expansion of the EV if the tenant so wishes to have them. There was a few comments from the TRC that I'll just highlight. We are providing dark sky compliant lights on the roof deck. They will be shining down, not up. We did consider flipping the locations of the dining room and living room. However, we felt that the overall product was good as it was, and offered the benefit of providing a flexibility for the future homeowners. We did correct the stairs. That was a comment as well. We will providing for the lights in the garages. So for the garage lights, we will be shielding them from the upper and lower level brick bands, plus providing the mesh within the window frames to dull the lights coming from the inside for public safety. I think that was the main items that the TRC had looked at here, and we did provide testimony to them as well.
Just to clarify, all of the units, townhomes and multi-family buildings, they're all being offered for sale, correct?
Yes, correct.
So with that, I would like to ask the final architect to come up and talk about the mixed-use building as proposed.
Could you run this for 2 minutes?
Good evening, council. Frank Levine, principal of ABK Architecture, part of the board. With that same plan, you can see the configuration of the retail space. And after before, some of the constraints we had with the triangle, I think we resolved it very well. The retail space is accessed from either side, but we have main entries on Cookman, possible entry depending on how the actual triangle looks at, along Asbury, but it is all ways on with respect to the sidewalk pattern. Because we are now, as you've heard already, within the floodplain area, that the entries have to be raised approximately 3 feet. So you've got the municipal sidewalk and then a base flat. designed for some flexibility. We've got multiple door entries, so it could be one large thing, it could be 2 or 3.
And I know we're legal in retail, but it could be any commercial.
Any commercial use as approved within the redevelopment plan, a restaurant, for example.
Sorry, continue.
No, fine. Floors 2 and 3, which is the top left and bottom right. So, layouts, there was, I won't say it's difficult, but certainly challenging to design apartments on a site that's got this, this point. But I think they all worked out very well, mixture of combination. Each of the units have outdoor space, so we want to understand we'll take further into the renderings. And we're not proposing at this point for the roof to have any use other than for mechanicals. So there's no roof deck at this point. All of the apartments have their own balconies off of the actual units themselves. Next one, Michael. So these are views from both Asbury Avenue and Cookman Avenue. Again, showing the long linear nature of the building. And from some perspective, it's almost nautical, but that is a result of the dimensions of the building, the dimension of the site. So along Asbury, the actual building is 200 feet in length. Next one, please. Just some of the views, again, because we're on a triangle, there are multiple facades. A6, next one, Michael. This is our material board, material palette, a view looking at the Asbury Avenue elevation. It's a very simple palette, given the style of architecture, so we're using a brick at the ground floor. Brick is often connected to a retail space, so that's what we've done here. The base of the building, which I mentioned, is raised, is also brick, so in essence, the building's at a brick plinth. And then there are horizontal, you see 3 horizontal bands that are made from, will be made from, and designed to be used with fiber cement panels in white. All of the infill is also fiber cement panel, but it's a simulated wood product. So all of these products, we think, work well with the kind of contemporary nature of the building, and they're also long-lasting and can durable given the conditions of the third floor. And these are some other views. Top left is, as I mentioned, we're at the intersection of Asbury Avenue and Cookman Avenue, so that's the main entry to the retail space. There are, of course, ADA-required ramps on both sides, on both Cookman and on Asbury, as well as additional stairs. And then some other views trying to do a play of the architecture. And that's really it.
And then you took the stairs, but it's kind of
Yeah, so that height you see is because the building has to be raised up given our location in the area, as described by the University of Engineering. In that case, in particular, that turns into more of a monumental here. So you can, of course, access the retail space from there, but you can access it also along either Asbury or Cookman.
That includes the ground presentation that everyone was used to answering questions.
So, looking at this part here, what's the line of impervious cover on this one? Where for landscape, other than along the first line?
The building is set back from the property line, but that space is used for is the raised platform, as it's called, for access to the business. So landscaping, we've got landscaping, as you mentioned, along the street. We could certainly add more landscaping to that small plaza where the monumental stair enters the retail space. That's the landscaping we're talking about. If that's something. Sure.
The rain garden that you showed on the measurements is very small for an SUV.
On the
Coverage on the.
bigger building.
elevation.
Oh, yeah. So this, would you, is there any other questions you'd like?
Landscaping, thank you for the lead silver, by the way. I'm really concerned about, it's a lot of cement, it's a lot of non-landscaping, and I'm not a fan of that. I think that's it. Do you have bicycle storage in anything?
Yeah, so on the mixed use building, you've got quite a bit of area for my bicycle storage. We've got spaces within the actual garage itself and access also to the lobby. There's also bicycle storage room. So on that particular building, which of course I'm more familiar with, there's quite a bit.
So I'm concerned about the size of the rain garden and the lack of landscaping and a lot of cement.
So the rain garden is just one of the components of stormwater management. It only addresses a portion of it. There will be porous pavement, basically the surface parking that you see would be made of porous pavement with storage underneath it. And there will also be a basin under building 2 as well. So we have a series of stormwater management basins to address stormwater management. And of course, actually, we did make a submission to NJDP for their review. We are proposing roughly 86% of impervious, where we are permitted 90%. So we're slightly below the maximum, and as you see in our landscape plan, we are obviously we're going to be providing street trees, and wherever we have this, so on the west side, we are providing additional landscaping for further buffering. And surrounding building 3 and building 1, we do have a so if you see the vegetation near the building, and we also have a portion of building 3 before we get to that system of ramps and stairs, we do have some additional landscaping there. So wherever we have the opportunities, we are providing landscaping on roughly 14%.
Okay. I'll be waiting to see what it is.
We can certainly work, incorporate the planters or some additional stairs.
As far as surface landscaping, you have to start eliminating parking in order to create more accurate landscaping, correct? Yeah. So it's completely straight.
Access and ingress is taken avenue from the office. It's very, Cookman Avenue is one of the very narrow streets. 2, it's one of our most traveled streets, and you have access from Asbury Avenue, one street, everyone coming in from Asbury, there's much water.
So when we started having the flexibility of 2 access points would be more desirable, to give that option to go to either street.
They'll get you access from
So we had originally proposed for the main retail access to be on Asbury, and the TRC asked us to move the main retail access to Cookman. So we had originally proposed the main access points on Asbury.
What's the width of the 2 driveways in there now?
24 feet.
24 feet, and is there going to be mechanical arms, or
No.
there's nothing mechanical?
Sure.
And both entrances and exits, the one on Asbury and one on Cookman will be available when the first phase is done?
Yes.
And the vegetation, those trees that are on the corner and then they'll all come down on the point by Cookman and Asbury. There's a lot of trees and vegetation with that.
Yes.
Okay, that's all the questions from council, but I'm sure there's going to be some from the public, so if you guys want to stay right there.
All right, do I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Move it.
All in favor? Public participation portion of the meeting is now open. If you wish to speak, please use the microphone, state your name and address for the record. There will be a 3-minute time limit for each speaker.
Hey, Mike Sedano, 4th Avenue.
I have two questions about this development. Has there been a traffic study done for this area? Or is it too early to do the traffic study? I don't know. Because if you've got entrances on Cookman's pretty busy. The second question I have is there any public art planned for this development? Murals, sculpture, beautification? Because all I've seen is gray buildings. Thanks.
Do you want to answer one by one?
Go ahead.
Traffic study, water development, required to be. Can't hear her.
I can't hear a word anybody has said at all.
So as far as the traffic study, under the waterfront redevelopment plan, at the outset, when it was designed, there had been traffic studies done. We are not required to submit updated traffic studies with each project. The initial waterfront redevelopment plan had approved and assumed that there would be 3,124 units. That is not going to happen, or that many. So no new traffic studies are required for each block.
When was the study done,
Wait a second. You got to get to the microphone and state your name and ask your questions. You have plenty of time.
And public art or?
At the moment, there's no public art proposed, but certainly a comment we can discuss in the hearing.
Nancy Savannah, Fourth Avenue. In keeping with Eileen's statement, have you ever considered, especially on retail, which is only mechanicals on the roof surface, to do a green roof? Or perhaps do trees on roofs or off sides of buildings? There's many examples I could refer you to in both Vancouver and Portland and other places we visited that show creativity and originality when it comes to utilizing green on top of buildings, with buildings, trees. So there's all sorts of things you could do to have nothing but sunshine down there. And it would help blanket some of that area that's just going to get hit with sun all summer long. And there's many different ways of doing that. I would just suggest you look into that because it could help a lot in creating something other than another cement block. And we have a lot of those now.
We do understand that on the multifamily building that we are proposing, we are proposing an amenity rooftop deck that will have some landscaping, low-level landscaping as a buffer from some of the other areas of the roof, as well as on the townhouse building, we are proposing private terraces that the tenants might be able to have potted plants or those kinds of things.
Those are not.
Constantine Fortunatus, 301 Cookman Avenue, Unit 13. I have a question on the sidewalk width and the setback on the Cookman side. Currently, where the cove starts, there's about 54 inches between the curb and where the sidewalk starts. And then there's 13 feet of sidewalk. They're extra large sidewalks, so there's about 17 and a half feet of setback. And it goes into, they feed into a much smaller sidewalk. And it's, not particularly good for walking once it gets there for strollers and wheelchairs. So my question is, are you going to match
Yes.
the current sidewalk that's on Cookman at 17 and a half
It
feet?
will be wide to that, because that is one of the master plan requirements.
Okay, thank you.
You can see that on the
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lynn Myers, 301 Clifton. I have a question on the EV spots that you have outside, on the outside. First of all, are those going to be only for residences? The residents, because how are you going to prevent other people from coming and using the spots for the public? Is there any proposal for that? So that's one of my questions. The second is, as people pull in, on the development of costs, as people pull in, I'm gonna get the headlights from all the cars pulling in. What are you anticipating as a buffer? There's also a walkway that runs along there, so you could literally be pulling in and knock people off the walkway if there's not something solid or something. I mean, you are talking Asbury Park, you are talking, you know, I don't trust every driver. So what are you going to do to prevent those cars from hitting people walking, the headlights and all of that, as well as the use of it by the public? Because there's just a bunch of spots in Asbury. Also, just in terms of the parking, I know that you said you're overparked, but you have den units, and we all know that in Asbury Park, a den unit means a bedroom. So I don't think that this project is overparked, I think it's actually underparked because you have den units. And what consideration has been done for the fact that a den unit is no different than a bedroom and you need parking? So those are all my questions.
Maybe I'll start answering backwards. For the parking. So the redevelopment plan and also as part of the capital permit that was approved requires 1.5 parking spaces per unit. The number of bedrooms actually does not matter. So we're providing more than that already.
Based on bedrooms, but not based on the den. There's no way that it's not gonna be used as a bedroom.
Could you just to clarify, whether it's a 4-bedroom unit or 1-bedroom unit, it requires to have 1.5 spaces. Here we'll provide more than 1.5, but whether it's den or bedroom doesn't change the requirement.
So between the EV parking spaces and the property line is 10 feet. And in there, we're proposing, we want to zoom in, Michael, we're proposing extensive vegetation and landscaping, and I'll make a note here to make sure that we are providing appropriate shrubbery to block the headlights. There's also going to be a curb so that vehicles can pull up and just continue. So there will be definitely a better landscape buffer.
You can have a walkway and then you landscaping in the front.
There's going to be a walkway, 10 feet, curb, and then a curb.
And you thought there's something more solid,
We could
or
consider
something more
that.
protective than just a bunch of bushes? And how high is the shrubbery gonna be?
It varies, we have some trees, we have some shrubs, and we could look at that detail, but it's gonna be sufficient to, to prevent the car, it's not just gonna be something that's 1 foot tall.
Because you, again, you have the walkway there.
Yeah, but the walkway's on the other side.
I think there's 2 walkways there.
There is 2 walkways.
Right?
Only one is public, the other is.
Right, one public.
And then the old one before you actually get to the residential.
Right, our walkway has a fence, this one won't have one. Or doesn't appear to have one based on the, plan that you have there. So you're saying it's curved 10 feet shrubbery?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the EV, how are you proposing to restrict the EV?
The question was whether the EV uses would only be for residents who will be able to be public, right?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is James Mullen, and I'm Director of Land Planning and Towns with Poopy. And we are the contract purchasers of the condo building in the town.
Now you answered my other question. Just who's purchasing it?
Right, so what we do is we have a management company that will hire a special company that deals with the parking spaces, and only the people who live there will get a.
That's what I was hoping you would say, but I want to make sure so it's not going. I mean, it won't stop people from parking there.
Well, the management company will.
But they can't.
Residents will.
But the only residents can.
Right, only residents.
Thank you.
How does that compare to the height of the code?
So in terms of the overall building, the building that's directly adjacent right across from Clifton Avenue is only 4 stories and 43 feet. The 5-story condo building located off of Asbury, that technically is only 59 feet to the roof structure. The extra bit there is actually for the rooftop improvements. So anything in terms of stair, elevator. So that actual area that goes up to 66 feet is actually very much small on the rooftop there. So really, the building goes up to 59.
And how does that compare to the height of the code?
I believe that the code is
4 stories?
This building, 4 stories. I don't know exactly how tall that is, but I would say it's probably about half a story or slightly more than what the code is, because we are proposing a 5-story.
So is there any consideration for blocking the code from, there's quite a few residents that are.
Because we strategically located the height of that building on to Asbury, we don't think that there's an issue there. Also, based on the development plan, in that area, you're permitted to go 8 stories. So we're only proposing 5.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so if you heard about this or any other issue, please, now's the time. Seeing no motion closed.
All in favor? You know,